What up, people? Welcome to a special Sprinkle Salt edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast featuring the one and only Mike Steph, best in the world at what he does. Yes, I am basking in the glow. I'm basking in the victory. I am basking in the sunshine of my New York Knicks finally getting on the board with their first victory of the Eastern Conference Finals with a very gritty, a very determined, a very difficult game three victory over those Indiana Pacers to pull within 2-1 in this Eastern Conference Finals series. I decided to give myself maybe about a little less than 24 hours to get everything together because I was trying to debate whether I was going to give y'all a full-fledged episode or I was going to give y'all just another sprinkle of salt, quick reaction, game recap, the whole nine. And as you can tell, hopefully, I'm just giving y'all the game recap. There's no need for a full-fledged episode. We got more than enough time this summer to get to full-fledged episodes. We got more than enough time this summer to get to episode 100 of the new and improved Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. So there's no real rush for that. Dog days of summer will be upon us. All my New York metropolitan fans, don't fret, don't you worry, don't you cry. They will be fully in my vision, in my area of target soon enough. But it's playoff time, baby. It's Knickerbocker time. So yeah, that's what's on deck this week. Well, that's what's on deck this episode. As hopefully y'all have come to realize, for the exception of yesterday, because it was my day off, I have been giving live, that's right, live sprinkle assaults on YouTube. Not immediately following the game, but probably within an hour or two after the game recaps on my way home. So please press that notification button. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, so you would be the first ones to get the notification that yes, Mike Steph is going live and in living color in his car studio. Yes, yes, yes. So, what's on tap this episode? Of course, I'm going to recap this great victory, 106-100 over the Indiana Pacers on the road in the field house in Indiana against Mr. Tyrese Halliburton and Obi Toppin them the boys. And there's numerous layers that I want to actually discuss. First is the Knicks being road warriors this season, this postseason. Josh Hart coming off the bench for the first time this postseason, and the talk around that. The Bodega Cat himself, KARL-ANTHONY Towns, finally having his New York Knickerbocker moment in these playoffs last night in the fourth quarter. The questionable, well, matter of fact, I won't say questionable. The puzzling officiating of fouls, especially in the first quarter, in the first half, that left our beloved New York Knickerbockers in a precarious position. And of course, what playoffs would these be with Mike Steph talking about them if my one word doesn't come up and I have to make an actual topic out of that? And that one word is narratives. Yes. A lot of narratives are going on in the social media sphere, in the media sphere, in sport talk in general. And I just have a nagging question. Matter of fact, two nagging questions. One overall, one more acute when it comes to this particular series of that asks the question, why? Why are things the way they are? Why are things perceived to be the way they are? Why are things adjusted to fit narratives? Yeah. And last but not least, a little bit more sentimental. personal. Yesterday, May 25th, was the 32nd anniversary of the dunk. If you're a New York Knicks fan, tell you the truth, if you're a Chicago Bulls fan, if you're a Michael Jordan fan, you are very well aware that that term, the dunk, is synonymous with New York Knicks legend John Starks' famous or infamous dunk over Michael Jordan, Horace Grant, in Game 2 of the 1993 Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, so I'll be talking about that. So that's what's on deck this episode. We're gonna get right to it because I don't plan on being here for more than a half hour. Get in, get out while the getting is good. And said, especially with StreamYard already starting their bullshit. With all that being said, good night, and goodbye.
Salty thoughts of Mike Steph, this marks a new beginning. Thanks for supporting a total reinvention. The soul is still here, but the vibe's a little different. Unpredictable, hide the kids and the women. Sports of all sorts, music mixed for living. Rep New York City, but hate the politicians. Always bring the heat, Steph baking in the kitchen. Big shout to y'all, I appreciate the listen. Donnie put the rest, but I'm still in the best. In the word of what I do, all y'all know the rest. I live it, I breathe it, I'm the whole definition. The pinnacle, the ultimate, I'm on a new mission. The salty thoughts of Mike Steph, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, the best in the world at what he does. Tap in.
The New York Knicks, off a 106-100 victory in Game 3 in the Eastern Conference Finals, have made this a series. For all my YouTube viewers, you can see the look of fear on Tyrese Halliburton's face. You can look at the look of distraught, a befuddling look on the Indiana Pacers faithful in the crowd. I mean, if you really look closely, you could just see Halliburton crying, "Oh, look what he's doing! Oh my God!" Freaking bitch. The New York Knicks are 6-1 on the road in the playoffs this postseason. Road Warriors. We are warriors. Yeah. 3 times already in this postseason, the New York Knicks have rallied from 20-point deficits. The first team to do that in one postseason in the whatever the hell the play-by-play era, in which dates back to 1997. In our last 5 road victories, we have trailed in the 4th quarter. So it makes you wonder. It really does make you wonder. Why did this happen? Are the New York Knicks better at playing from behind? Are the New York Knicks better at playing basketball doggy style, aka from behind? Are the New York Knicks better when their back is against the wall? Are the New York Knicks better when everybody counts them out? The media pundits, the fans, opposing teams, fan bases, i.e. Boston, Mr. Portnoy, numerous people on Blue Sky talking about, yeah, I see the fat The fat lady's over in the corner, lacing up her Timbs, clearing up her throat, ready to sing. I told you. I told you. It's not that many fat bitches in the world nowadays due to Ozempic. So the fat lady is not ready to sing. The fat lady is not ready to pull the curtain on the New York Knicks season. No, 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 no. But like I said, it still begs the question, why do we wait until we're down 20 points on the road to start actually playing the way we're capable of playing? We start playing that suffocating D, to start playing with desperation. Is it that the New York Knicks are indeed the team of destiny that some people believe that other teams are preordained with that terminology with? I don't know. Perhaps. You know, a lot of times in my lifetime, when I'm watching these postseason runs, when I'm watching these NCAA runs, like there's no reason why, but this is the only way I can kind of describe it, how I feel this postseason with these dynamic, come from behind victories and what I've experienced in the past. The 1992 Michigan Wolverines. Yes, the heyday of the Fab Five. Rose, Weber, Howard, Jackson, King. I remember that second run to the championship game when everybody expected them to win. They overcame deficits in the second half against UCLA. There was another game that they were down by like 15, and they overcame that. I know it's hard to compare NBA basketball to NCAA basketball, but that's the feeling I get. The feeling I get when that lump goes in my throat, pause, when we're down 15 points in the first quarter, 17 points in the first half, 20 points in the first half, 20 points in the third quarter, 15 points in the fourth quarter, in which before they turn that switch, flip that switch, in which we're questioning, how did we get in this position? How do we get in this position? Why is this happening? And then when we come back with furious vengeance and incredible tenacity, and we come back to tie the game and eventually take the lead and eventually snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, that exhilarating feeling of Knick fandom overwhelms us. And then once the high comes down, we're left in the position of, why did it take that? Why did they make it so damn hard? I mean, we could go back in this postseason against the Pistons. We're up 3-1. We could have closed it out in Madison Square Garden. Did we? No. We lost, had to get back to Detroit and beat them for the third consecutive time in that series on the road. Same thing against Boston. We took home court advantage by the throat. We came back not in one, two consecutive games. In games 1 and 2, beat Boston on the road. Come back to MSG with a commanding 2-0 lead. We lose game 3. And we have to stave off a 42-point effort by Jason Tatum before we eventually pulled away to win game 5 to put us up 3-1. Can we go to Boston and just put them out their misery in game 5? No. We have to come back in game 6 and, of course, put the nail in the coffin. This series, we're up 14 with less than 3 minutes to go. And we not only lose the lead to go into overtime, we lose the game. And we have that cocksucker on the other side fiending, thirsting so much to do this, he didn't even realize we had 5 more minutes. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm glad his pops is able to watch the games again from the arena, from courtside or whatever, because it's gonna make it that much sweeter when he chokes on something else besides an L. Yeah, I said it, motherfucker. But yeah, why is this happening? I don't know. But that brings us to my next topic. Josh Hart. Josh Hart embraced coming off the bench in game 3. Josh Hart revealed that he met with Coach Thibodeau and selflessly volunteered to come off the bench so that Mitchell Robinson can join the starting lineup. It's a well-known fact that our starting lineup has been outscored, but I think we're minus 50 with our starting lineup this postseason. And unfortunately, we have 2 defensive liabilities in KARL-ANTHONY Towns and Jalen Brunson that makes it very hard, that puts us in a predicament of being down and having to fight our way back up. And as Gato, sometimes we're just not able to do that all the time. Or matter of fact, maybe we wasn't down enough. Maybe just being down 10-12 wasn't enough. We needed to be down 20. But regardless, here's a quote from Josh Hart, who came up with not 1, but 2 enormous defensive rebounds to clinch and close the game in game 3. It was never going to be a tough day for me because I had a hand in that decision, said Hart. He still played 34 minutes in the game. When I'm in a decision like that and kind of got the ball rolling on that, it was funny. Y'all were all scrambling, trying to get answers, and I never really cared because it was kind of my decision. I was comfortable with it. Josh Hart is no stranger to coming off the bench. He started his Knicks career coming off the bench, and due to injuries, he ended up in the starting lineup. He is our jack of all trades, out ace in the hole, so to speak. He's had the most triple doubles in New York Knicks history in the regular season. He is, as much as I hate to give this cocksucker credit, he is our equivalent to Draymond Green, an undersized guard who can grab you 10 to 15 rebounds. Draymond Green is an undersized forward, but you get the gist. He can initiate the offense. He can run the offense, not to the level of a point guard, but you got to realize Josh Hart is a guard who plays power forward in a lot of lineups because he's just that versatile. He's just that selfless. He's just that tough. He is, pardon the pun, the heart of the New York Knickerbocker team. So when he ends up game 2 saying, listen, Mitch Rob needs to play more minutes, he's not saying that as, all right, Mitch Robinson needs to get minutes at the detriment of somebody else. He's saying, listen, we play better as a team when Mitch Rob gets more minutes. And guess what? He needs to get some more minutes, and he needs to actually start the game. And you know what? I will remove myself from the starting lineup, and I'll play with the bench. But that had a trickle-down effect. That not only it wasn't a one-for-one swap, you had to kind of figure out, all right, well, what is our bench unit going to consist of? Because you have Mitch Robinson now doing the Twin Tower effect in the starting lineup, and you have Josh Hart anchoring the second unit. But you have to have a little bit more length now into DeLon White, into Landry Shamet. Part of that was due to the questionable, the befuddling whistle that came up in the first half. Like, do y'all realize that Deuce McBride got 3 fouls, was called for 3 fouls in less than a minute of action? They had to round it up to a minute, but less than a minute of action, 3 fouls, rendered him effectively useless in the first half. So because, all right, now you have a scoring threat that cannot be used. Brunson is already in foul trouble because he got 4 fouls in the first half alone, on top of being a defensive liability regardless. So that means you have to go deeper into the bench. Cam Payne, normally one of the first people to come off the bench, wasn't off the bench because you had to have length. You had to concentrate on defense because we, or should I say Thibodeau, realized, listen, okay, our offense is struggling. They're humming. Guess what? The best way, we can't go blow for blow right now. We have to shut them down. We have to take them all out their comfort zone. We have to gunk up the game. Enter Landry Shamet and DeLon White with Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges. Listen, the facts speak for themselves. The results speak for themselves. The bench came up huge. A huge fourth quarter by Deuce McBride when Jalen Brunson was forced to the bench with his 5th foul. Deuce McBride came up huge with 9 points. Stifling defense. The New York Knicks limited the Pacers to 42 points in the second half on 36% shooting over the last 24 minutes. Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges combined to shoot 12 of 36 for the field. You know who picked up the slack? You know who picked up the slack? Someone who I have been very, very, very tough on. KARL-ANTHONY Towns. KARL-ANTHONY Towns dropped 20 of his 24 in the fourth quarter. He had, don't you know, he had 20 points and 8 rebounds in the fourth quarter alone? He, by himself, scored as much as the Indiana Pacers did in the fourth quarter, in which the Knicks outscored the Pacers 36-20 in the last stanza. Not only that, KARL-ANTHONY Towns was hitting them from the outside, from 3 step backs, was taking it to the hole, was yamming it on them, was floating, was just dominating. And you know why this happened? You know why this happened? I'll tell you why this happened. Because he did something that I've been craving, that I've been screaming at the top of my lungs for him to do. And the only way he's going to be effective going forward is twofold. One, Tibbs needs to stagger the minutes in which Karl-Anthony Towns, you put a defensive lineup behind him and you allow him to be the focal point of the offense in the times that Brunson is not on the floor. That allows him to do the inside game, the outside game. That allows him to not think. That allows him to be aggressive and score. Score, score, score. It allows him not to be a liability on defense because you have people that, well, keep their man in front of them so he will not have the impulse of doing stupid-ass fouls like he's accustomed to doing. Do you know that I think there's a stat that in 13 of the 15 postseason games, Karl-Anthony Towns has at least 4 fouls? That's who he is. You have to account for that. You have to play into that hand. Jalen Brunson came back into the game with less than 3 minutes remaining. He put the nail in the coffin with a floater. But everybody knows that this game would not have been won without the aggression of Karl-Anthony Towns. It happened to be Dominican Mother's Day yesterday. And he was asked in the post game on whether or not that played a factor. He was emotional, but he was even more emotional than usual on court due to the fact that it was Dominican Mother's Day, and everybody knows that he lost his mother a couple years ago to COVID during the shutdown of 2020. And he did say, listen, like, of course, it was on his mind. And he did thank the person for even asking that question and showing that amount of deference to his loss. And I call a spade a spade. Listen, I'm not afraid to say when I'm wrong. I'm not afraid to backtrack. I'm not afraid to give credit where credit's due. And I have to give credit where credit's due when it comes to Karl-Anthony Towns because he played like we needed him to play. He played like that MVP candidate that he was in the past. He played like the player we thought, well, the player that we saw in the very beginning of the season, the first half of the season, the player that had torched Indiana, averaging 30 points a game against them. There's nobody on Indiana that can hold him if he allows it. If he doesn't allow it, I should say. Karl-Anthony Towns can be a destructive force. Miles Turner can't hold him. Siakam can't hold him. That's why I was getting so pissed off that you're allowing Nembhard to keep you 30 feet from the rim. But like I said, I give credit where credit's due. He might be unorthodox. He might be a little corny. He might be a little doofy at times. But at the end of the day, he got the job done. And that's all we asked for. That's all we was wanting. That's all we needed was for him to get the job done. So, up 2-1, and here we go with narratives. It's twofold, I told you. One, how come there's so much hate? And this is an overall view. How come there's so much hate for a team that hasn't won a chip in over 52 years? I'll wait. I'll wait for that answer. How come there's so much glee when we fail to succeed, when we come up short? How come there's so much glee when how come other players take so much glee in talking shit about a team, about a city that they're always afraid to play in 82 games a season, not just come and do a little cameo here, cameo there. I still remember KD, Knicks corny. Well, guess what? The Knicks have been further in the playoffs the last 3 seasons. These corny ass Knicks have been in the playoffs further the last 3 seasons than Mr. KD. Even the retired players, Barkley, Shaq, all of them. They take glee in the Knicks' misery. Why? Why? Is it something that they feel like they didn't fulfill in life that caused them to take glee in the Knicks are not the basketball version of the Dallas Cowboys? Because I've heard that narrative out there too. Whereas they're fans, they're fans, they're fans. Listen, we don't ever say we win the chip every year. Sometimes we realists to the point of, yo, when we know our team stinks, but guess what? We still gonna show up. But when our team has a chance, yeah, we're gonna show out. Listen, I'm an old school Knicks fan, and I'm not going to try to I'm not going to try to pierce and say, listen, I'm from a cloth of here, and these new school. Listen, I have been a Knicks fan since the 80s. I saw the original Live in the Living Color. One thing I respected about Reggie Miller, and it wasn't much, but the one thing I respected about Reggie Miller was the same every time we met him. If they got blown out, he was still talking shit. If they won by 20, he was talking shit. When he dropped 25 in the fourth quarter, he was talking shit. When he scored 8 points in the last 10 seconds, he was talking shit. When they got bumped from the Eastern Conference Finals, he was talking shit. He didn't wait until it was safe to talk shit to flex his muscle. Mr. Number Zero, Halliburton. If you want to gain the respect from tried and true Knicks fans, as in, listen, you're a damn tough competitor, keep that same energy all the time. I didn't see none of this last night. And look, we were above it all. We didn't say y'all choked. Y'all were celebrating like y'all won the chip in the second quarter. Which brings me to the next narrative. How come when the Knicks blow a 17-point lead, it's called a choke? When the Knicks blow a 14-point lead with less than 3 minutes remaining, it's called a choke. When the Knicks cough up a lead, that a game that was pretty much 99% done, it's called a choke. But when the Pacers cough up a 20-point lead and acted like the series was over in the second quarter, it was called not being serious, not taking care of business, not putting the foot on their throat, playing with their food. All those type of narratives, it was called. What's the difference? Besides, one team has orange and blue, and the other one is painted in the cowardly color of yellow. What's the difference? That we're from the city that never sleeps, and they're from the city that smells like shit? Listen, I want no smoke from the Naptown. I mean, I don't duck any smoke, but that's not what this is about. This is about narratives. How come they get more of a benefit out than we do? When's the last time they won a chip? Matter of fact, come to think of it, have they ever won an NBA championship? Have they ever won an NBA championship? Not an NBA, not a league that no longer exists. Have they ever won an NBA championship? Nope. I don't think they have. So what's the difference? When's the last time they've been to the NBA Finals? Yeah, once. Okay. Did they win? No. But I'm just saying, what's the discrepancy? Why does this happen? Why is that happening? Why is that the case? I think it's some type of jealousy, some deep-seated envy, some jealous one's envy. There's a lot of Joes out there. There's a lot of people that feel Joe. There's a lot of, matter of fact, isn't that Chicago slang? What up, Joe? I'm just asking. As far as I remember, because like I said, I'm an old head, proud old head. Be 49 this year. Hopefully, I'll be 49 with a championship. Is the series over? No, it is not. Do we need to win game 4? Yes, the hell we do. And if we win game 4, how apropos would it be if this series is the exact opposite of what happened last year? We were up 2-0 going into Indiana. We lost both games. We came back to the city, won game 5, and lost game 6 and 7. Now it looks like it's kind of the inverse. We lost game 1 and 2. We won game 3, and now if we win game 4, the pressure is solely on the Indiana Pacers. Narratives. Yeah, that's a narrative that I'm spinning. That's a narrative that I'm creating. That's a narrative that I'm vocalizing. Pressure ain't on the Knicks. Pressure ain't on the Knicks right now. Everybody said the pressure was on the Knicks last series when we went into Boston and won 2 games on the road. Well, guess what? The pressure's on Indiana now. They won 2 games on the road. Can they finish the fucking job? To be continued, right? To be effing continued. But what's not to be continued is this. Like I said, last night, May 25th, 1993, was the 32nd anniversary of The Dunk by John Starks. Everybody who back then was like, Jordan didn't get dunked on. Look at the fucking picture. Horace Grant, and yeah, Jordan jumped. At least I'll give him that credit. Wasn't like LeBron running away from a dunk. And John Starks yammed it on both of them. Did we win another game in that series? No, we did not. Now I'm going to take this banner off just for a minute, so y'all can see the actual poster. The Dunk, John Starks, Tuesday, May 25th, 1993. That date is sentimental for me and my people right now at this moment for one particular reason. Yesterday was the birthday of our brother, Big Rue Kubiak. Big Kubiak. Happy heavenly birthday to Big Rue, my brother from another, my ketchup brother, number 1. This poster, when it came out, he went down. I think I'm 100% sure he went down to Birdell's on Nostrand and Fulton and got this poster and put it in his bedroom. If I went through the archives, which I will not be putting on here, because like me and my bro Money Mike was talking about yesterday, some things are just for the time at hand. Some things are just for the circle. Some things aren't for public consumption. But we both remember this. Both remember being in Cool's room with this poster. We both remember this poster being there for years, even though we didn't win another game in that series. It's so fitting that the Knicks won in that fashion yesterday, because I'm not going to lie, I was very confident yesterday, even though when it looked the bleakest, I was like, the Knicks are not going to lose. The Knicks are not going to lose this game. The Knicks are not going to lose this game specifically because this game is happening on May 25th. Knicks are not going to allow themselves to lose this game. It just can't. It can't happen. It won't happen. It will happen. And guess what? It did not happen. I personally believe, and usually I don't try to mingle to, like, because life is life, sports is sports, and sometimes sports is life, and sometimes life is sports. But I don't know. I just have this feeling that this is the year for various reasons. There's one big reason that I have in my head that I'm not going to say on air, because once again, everything is not for public consumption. But the dunk, 32 years. We come back from 32 years later against our arch nemesis, the Pacers. We prove everybody wrong on May 25th. It's a reason for that. It's a reason for that. I'll leave it up to y'all to connect the dots. So, I mean, there's really no way to top that, so I'm not going to try. This brings us to the end of a Sprinkle Sword edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Step podcast. I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for making me and this here podcast the one y'all choose to view and the one y'all choose to listen to. Please check that notification button, press subscribe, so y'all can be on the lookout for if and when I decide to go live and live in color. In living color. Do what you want to do and live in color. After these, hopefully this next New York Knicks victory. Yeah. So I'm gonna get out of here. So I will check y'all later. Give me 5 on the black hand side. And this is my music. Why won't I play what I feel like playing? Goodbye.
But I'm living in none while waiting to my 40s to consider a run. Been telling y'all for years that my rhyming was done. Main motivation was not becoming a bum. You think it'd be easier, Craig gets measlier. The more my eyes open, the game gets seedier. Everybody's your bro, every comment is flames. Probably bet back in the days, most these niggas were lames. Most these niggas dames think they trailblazing. Only by yourself or your born bars amazing. I thought the same thing, great covered by Beijing. Wisdom embraced, learned not to be impatient. Right the block I'm facing, but is it really? Has the time coming, I just don't have the feeling. Maybe I don't wanna be open with what I'm dealing. Selfish with my trials, tribulation nearly killed me. Took 40 plus years for me to feel comfortable. For now it's Mike Steph, no more mention the Donnie. Ooh, y'all don't have a clue how I deal with the shakes. Anxiety creeping, silent killer like snakes. Cut the grass low, exposing the fakes. My therapeutic anger ain't decreasing the stakes, it's increasing my rate. Heart trying to keep pace. Took a while to feel at ease, looking at my own face. A whole new space, grounded by new gravity. Used to love to float, but I'm drained like a battery. 10 months free, more in touch with faculties. Monkey on my back, sees to try to tackle me. Tackle to the ground, wanted flesh by the pound. Muted voices in my head, I don't hear a sound. Pristine mind and body, no more shackles, now I'm bound. The roam free in the world, the real me now I found.